Alright, everyone. I know what you're thinking. Lego is back with another shadow project again, but I like them. And I had a really good capture here of a moment where I uh, actually got a good silhouette of Lara being either in free fall or trying to do a climb or throw. Those are really, really hard to get in a manner of speaking when it comes to shadow project. When you flatten out the silhouette, you need to really have some good um, you need a good composition of the body to see what the frig is going on, and it's surprisingly hard to get that. But this is a really good frame for the first game, and I could not do this. The only small part of it that's missing is a better position for the hand, but I mean, overall it's a small gripe. So I am doing the silhouette, as you can see here, the usual manner of making up the main body. I am doing the hair separately, as I'm very happy with doing. Freestyling some stuff that looks fairly good. It's one of the best ways I know to do hair, and I really like that technique when I don't go overboard with it. Anyway, so yes, it is another Tomb Raider silhouette project, and it's probably not. It's not going to be the last. I guarantee you that. I've got hundreds of ideas at this point, I think, and a bunch of them revolve around Tomb Raider still. So, cracking on here, I am now attempting to get a bit of a two-tone color because the flat silhouette, the actual black silhouette here, is really hard to judge depth on this, and depth is a little bit of a tricky thing here because if not, she might as well be splattered onto a pavement or clinging against a glass wall, or how, what do you know? So I need to convey that sense of we are sort of looking from below ish, looking up at her as she's falling or climbing or hanging or whatever it is she's doing in the scene, depending on the context, what you're watching and what you want it to be, I guess. So to convey that sense of perspective of where we are relative to her and what she's doing, I do think I need that two tone. I need that miscoloring of her backside and her boots to sort of convey the fact that yes, we are looking at her from below. So I am really trying an array of different things to clean this up a bit, get that two tone a little bit more organized, a little bit more simple. And at first, I tried using some lighting on the edges of her torso, but that didn't really work out. It didn't really didn't convey what I really wanted, I suppose. And instead, I went to remove her left arm from the wrists, give it a distinct body to work with, so I could do a two tone of the tank top strap to convey again the composition of the body, but also the a little bit more of the, how do I say this, the like the perspective of where we are relative to where she is. So giving just that simple line there adds a ton of depth to what she's doing and where we are in the picture, as well as cleaning up the hand a little bit. As I mentioned, the hand was a bit tricky. That doesn't lend itself very well to this shadow thing. So I'm actually going to obscure that in a moment with some more black shadows. So please don't focus on the hand. That's not that's not my best work, and it's not the best position to work from, given the orientation of this. Now she doesn't have her ice pick on her at this particular cutscene, so I added it back in because she absolutely has it. It's just not shown because of video game magic. So I took a few different iterations and positions of that axe to put in where I liked it, and it blends right in. It looks like it belongs because it does. So having made this now, I am giving a little bit of context to what she's holding on to here, because otherwise it looks very daft. Just with one fist up in the air doing absolutely nothing. So I did add a little bit of a beam in here back on, and I wanted to try and see if I could make the beam fade into nothing. So it's clear there's more beam beyond what you see, but it's not going to take up a lot of real estate here. So I'm trying to make that beam fade away into nothing, essentially. And I'll get back to that later. Now, having established the framework and the composition and how much space I have, I'm not I'm now trying to do something that I haven't tried too much of, but I'm going to attempt it right here. This is Runic Gallifreyan. Probably the last time I used this was the humongous music project I did, but it has other applications, and it's fairly nice for simple text like this, and this is what it was made for. And what I'm attempting here is I'm trying to sort of radiate most of the lines in the same manner. So I'm trying to put the text in places where the lines will align with the background style, the background what's it, the guidelines I put in there. And the hope is that the total effect of all these lines going in will be somewhat of a pattern, or like it's like it's deliberate of some sort. Now the guidelines are not going to be there in the final one, but I just wanted to have them right now for lining up certain things. It's partially inspired by the music project because it almost gave it a Lord of the Rings, the Elven script thing, the aesthetic of how that was written. Lots of flowy, long lines going off in this or that direction. I'm trying a little bit of the same thing here on a much smaller scale. So I wanted to see how that would work if I try to place these strategically in some sort of pattern or deliberate manner. So that is the experiment in a nutshell, I guess. I was fairly happy with the judgment call on how big this was to be. You can see I filled up the space very nicely here without having too much of an issue with rescaling anything. So I judged the amount of words and letters pretty well, and I'm thankful for that. Now I'm just going through and removing all the extra nodes because even though I have smoothing set pretty high, I get way too many nodes. It looks janky. It looks terrible. So I'm removing a lot of that jank to get very smooth lines, lots of flowing, lots of almost a calligraphic touch, and that is doing wonders for this script as a whole. That's what it was made to do, essentially. So having done this now, it looks very nice there, I think, filling up the space nicely, and the reading direction is technically right, except I'm pretty sure I've actually got it backwards. So each individual word is in the right orientation, but the actual sentence level reading direction in this case is, if you're really strict about it, it's actually backwards. So you would read a word and then go back to the beginning of that word, go the other way around, find the beginning of that word, go the right way around again, then go in the wrong direction for the next word, then start the right direction again. Technically speaking, this would be on a sentence level backwards, but each individual word would be right. But anyway, I think it's pretty obvious when you read a word, you go to the next letter right after, and that it's set up in 1, 2, 3. So it should flow pretty naturally, but on a technical level, it just occurred to me that this is probably backwards. So anyway, text done. Back to probably over engineering some background material for this. I fully admit I had no plan for this stage. I wasn't even sure I was going to do color work at all. It might have just been a black and white. That would have been fine. I'm probably also going to do a black and white version. Maybe I won't release it, but I probably will. I tend to do. But I ended up trying here some vague smoke distress, if that's even a word, trying to add a little bit of something to that. Now I am obscuring the beam, as I said, and the best way I found to do that after some initial failings was to do a clip group. I am fairly adequate at making those by now, but I don't always get the opportunity. So in this case, I did the inner shadows in a white color to bleed it out and get rid of the edges in a very organic way, and I'm very happy with that. So that was that ended up being my solution. It's very powerful and it gave me a lot of control in a way that no ordinary distress or any sort of gradient could give me. So on that account, I'm very happy with that. I ended up not liking the yellow very much. I was going for like a daytime thing. It didn't really look like anything, so I ended up giving it the good old black and red theme that I have done a lot with in Tomb Raider lately, and also previously. But it really lends itself very well to that color palette. So I ended up doing red and black, and this is fairly close to what you're seeing here. In the end, I tried to go a little different way just as a test, because now I had done the shadow, I had done the smoke effects. I wanted to see if I could omit the smoke and do it another way, and I ended up trying to do this grit bleed, and it might inspire me to do another project. It did give me an idea for another method of making text, but it didn't really do anything here. It wasn't really anything. So I added the smoke back in and played around with a little bit of the color, but overall this is how it ended up being. So not quite black and white, a little bit of color bleed through, but I don't think it's too distracting. You can still clearly read the text, and there's still the center focus of Lara there doing her thing. And if you can read what it says, I think it's pretty appropriate. There's only 3 words. You are free to go have a look at it. But otherwise, I do believe I've said everything I wanted to say about this little piece. It was a really nice little distraction. It took me less than 2 hours to do this, actually, in one go. I'm very happy with that. And I don't get to flex my Runic Gallifreyan muscles very often, so I am very happy with that too. Right, I do believe this was everything. Have a good day, and I might see you another time. Bye.